Alright lads, so let's talk about 1000 Year Blood War characters. It's a big thing, right? It's the future of Bleach brain cells. Going forward to the second half of the year, 2024, 2025, maybe even 2026, we are going to be getting a lot of 1000 Year Blood War characters and of course also banners. Hopefully events too, right? But in this video, we're going to be explaining the schedule for 1000 Year Blood War and when to next expect certain characters on when they can potentially show up. Because I feel like yesterday's Barn Collation was a good example of that, where people had way too high of expectations and are ultimately setting themselves up for disappointment whenever a new 1000 Year Blood War character does get announced. So what exactly are we talking about? Well, first up, let's explain KLab's release schedule. And keep in mind, this was told to us by an ex-KLab employee. Granted, it was years ago, but for the most part, it looks like they're still working on this schedule, if not very close to it. And that is, KLab plan characters 6 months in advance. From the initial planning to the release, it's going to take around 6 months' time. And that's the exact reason why we didn't get a single 1000 Year Blood War banner while the first season of Bleach 1000 Year Blood War was airing. Because that was a big deal at the end of 2022. Going into the first season of the 1000 Year Blood War anime, we had a 1000 Year Blood War banner with Ichigo, Chad, and Uryu. Our title screen changed, the logo even changed. KLab were telling us that 1000 Year Blood War is in the game and we're now going to be getting anime characters. However, the next following months leading up to the end of the year, we didn't get a single 1000 Year Blood War banner. And that was a big thing. Where are they? What are KLab doing? Why are KLab not taking advantage of the hype of the anime and giving us new characters? It was also one of the main reasons why the end of year, while it was actually a really good banner and some really cool well-designed characters, it was also disappointing because on the same day we had new episodes, the final 2 episodes of Season 1 of 1000 Year Blood War, and we had no 1000 Year Blood War characters to go alongside that. And again, the main reason why is because they couldn't get them out in time. If KLab plan characters 6 months in advance, we're not going to see characters from the first season until 6 months later. And that's exactly why we didn't get a single 1000 Year Blood War banner while the anime was airing. And it's now why we're starting to finally get Season 1 characters, 8 months essentially into the year 2023 when Season 2 of 1000 Year Blood was airing. And it's because they only started working on these new characters once the first season of the Bleach anime did end up finishing. And now we're seeing the results of that. If anything, the next 4 months, end of months, might just be strictly 1000 Year Blood War, and we're going to get a bunch of characters from the first season of 1000 Year Blood War. So of course it makes sense that our first 1000 Year Blood War banner outside of the anniversary, because there has to be really hype characters, is going to be characters from the first set of episodes of 1000 Year Blood War. Kyuuge and Iban, for example, are the first set of antagonists that Ichigo fights. Bambayeta is from the first invasion, so you can expect the next set of 1000 Year Blood War banners to be from the first invasion. And it's because the anime is now a thing, it means characters like Iban, some of the less popular Sturmritters, maybe even the Transbestia, for example, can get characters because that's the benefit of having the 1000 Year Blood War anime. If any character in the anime has a somewhat significance, even Iban, who fights Ichigo in the first episode, that is enough for them to get a character. And it's actually important to separate the old 1000 Year Blood War characters with the current ones because they're not the same. While it's true they're all 1000 Year Blood War characters, these ones are based off the manga, while these ones are based off the anime. Just because we received someone like Bambayeta in a Volstanic form does not mean we're getting Candace anytime soon. Same goes for Lie. Just because we got Lie doesn't mean we have any possibility of thinking about getting Pineda or Gerard. Now with us following the anime, if a character wants to get a new 1000 Year Blood War character, they have to do something in the anime episodes. So for those that are waiting for Season 2 characters, for example, all the new Sturmritters with their Volstanic forms, all the Soipers with their new Shikais and Bankais, we're not going to see them for quite some time because it's going to take a while for KLab to even think about making them. And keep in mind, as of right now, this is a current prediction, but for those that are wondering, the earliest we can probably expect Season 2 characters is probably March or April of 2024. Because if they go what they did last time with Season 1, it's going to take around 6 months after the end of Season 2 for us to get those characters in-game. For those that are wondering, Season 2 is scheduled to end September 30th. And that's going to be the pattern going forward into the future. By the time we start getting Season 2 characters in-game, we'll probably be watching 1000 Year Blood War Season 3. And by the time Season 3 characters come into the game, we'll probably be watching 1000 Year Blood War Season 4. For the most part, we're always going to be a season behind. And it's ultimately because KLab have a schedule. And since they're differentiating the old 1000 Year Blood War characters with the new ones, these new ones being strictly designed by the anime, it's going to take a while for them to come come into the game. And the benefit of having to wait so long is that the characters end up looking significantly better. Having new 1000 Year Blood War characters with soul bombs referencing the anime almost one-to-one, anime design, color scheme, the visuals ultimately look significantly better, at least in my opinion. So like I mentioned, the earliest we can probably expect 1000 Year Blood War Season 2 characters in game is probably around April time. It really depends on when Caleb start working on the Season 2 characters. But going back to Season 1 characters, the characters we're currently getting right now, you're probably going to notice a pattern of us going in somewhat chronological order. The banners we're getting right now actually is probably going to be very similar to BBS when the game first started. For those that aren't aware, every end of month brought us new characters in a somewhat chronological order timeline. We went from the start of the Wako Mundo arc to eventually going to Karakura Town with Ichigo vs Ulquiorra, to then eventually getting characters like Ichigo vs Aizen, and then we started to get the TLA characters. It looks like right now with our 1000 Year Blood War characters and banners, it is going to be going in some decent order, going from Season 1 of 1000 Year Blood War to Season 2 characters, and then 3, and then 4. And that pretty much means we have a lot of 1000 Year Blood War banners coming our way over the basically next 3 years almost. And before I do get asked this question, because I'm sure it's coming our way, why can't Caleb make the characters in advance to release alongside the episodes? Again, it looks like they either can't or don't want to. While it's true Caleb can definitely get some episodes early, these episodes of 1000 Year Blood War are worked up until the release almost. So even if they did get episodes or scenes early, it's not that early to make a difference, at least with their schedule. And we have seen Caleb can release characters alongside the episodes. 1000 Year Blood War Round 16 is a prime example of that. But the difference here is that this banner is basically manga characters disguised as anime characters. You have a look at this current banner with their sub animations one-to-one with the anime, but then you have a look at Round 16 where their animations were basically referencing chapter 482, not episode 1 of 1000 Year Blood War. So I guess if Caleb really wanted to, they probably could release the characters alongside the episodes, but then you can have a disparity between the characters' animations in-game versus what we see in the anime. And as of right now, at least to me, 1000 Year Blood War Round 16 remains as the only banner to ever be like that because they had to do something. If the anime returned and we didn't get a single 1000 Year Blood War banner, that would have been a big problem. It already was, to be fair. Even though we got this one, we didn't get enough. And that led to a lot of people again speculating on the future of Brave Souls because we weren't getting 1000 Year Blood War characters. And it always came down to Caleb can't get the characters out in time. We're always essentially going to be a season behind. So let's do a quick recap. We're now currently getting 1000 Year Blood War characters based off the anime and no longer based off the manga. What this does mean is that if you want a certain character to show up in the game Bleach Brave Souls, you have to wait for them to do something in the anime. Alongside that, with Caleb's release schedule and how they plan characters 6 months in advance, even after their big moment in the anime, it is going to take many months before they even do come into the game. And that's exactly why we're getting characters like Kyoge and Iban from the first episode of 1000 Year Blood War. The benefit of this is that we can get more 1000 Year Blood War characters. A wider variety of characters. Characters like Iban, while I get he's not the most exciting character, characters like him are going to get put into the game. And that wasn't possible when we were getting manga characters. We're no longer going to just get 2000 Year Blood War banners a year. We might get 5, maybe 6. This one's a bit subjective, but the visuals are going to end up looking a lot better because they're now going off of the anime. In my opinion, these last 8000 Year Blood War characters that we have gotten are some of the best looking characters in the entire game, including Iban. His visuals are great. He's even using the sound effects from the anime. That, to me, at least is really cool. It makes the game feel a lot more closer to the anime and a lot more connected, if that kind of makes sense. But I guess the last thing to say here is that while it's true we're going to have to wait quite some time, especially for Season 2 characters, right? That I don't think is going to happen until next year. Maybe end of year if they can get them out fast enough. But knowing this schedule should allow you to plan ahead, right? If you know a certain character is coming up, let's say for me, let me use me as an example. I want Giselle. Giselle is going to have a big moment in the upcoming episodes, so I can probably expect Giselle coming into the game sometime next year. And with that, now that we have a pity system, I'm going to want to make sure at any given time I have 5,000 orbs spared, just for Giselle to come out. Alongside that, if I can have any extra special move sources, it will make getting Giselle 5 out of 5 significantly easier. And you should do the same. If you want someone like Esnot in his Vo standing form, Bankai Rukia, well, that's probably going to happen around early 2024. Maybe mid-2024. So best advice to give is to start saving now, right? But with that said, lads, that was the video for today, just going over the 1000 Year Blood War schedule in Bleach Brave Souls. For the most part, it's still my opinion just based on inference over the last 9 or so months, right? And most importantly, the fact that we were told by an ex-Caleb employee years ago that Caleb developed characters 6 months in advance. Understanding those things, you start to make sense on why Caleb are now finally starting to do 1000 Year Blood War and why we're only now getting Season 1 characters. The sooner you understand that, the better you're going to enjoy these banners, right? Don't let the lack of Season 2 two characters ruin the excitement of the first time us getting someone like Kyoge, for example. Same goes for Esnot. When he does come into the game, potentially in the next month or two, I best not see anyone complain that it's not his voice standing form. That's not happening anytime soon. It will come in due time, and for Esnot fans, you get 2 Esnots to play with, which is more than a lot of characters can say. And a Unicorn. I ain't had a new character in 5 years, bro. But yeah, the video's gone on long enough. Hope you liked and enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.